I was already late for work when I froze in the hallway, one hand on the doorknob, jacket half on, brain still foggy from 4 hours of sleep. It was 4:52 a.m., the kind of hour where your house doesn't feel like home anymore, just a pit stop between jobs. And then I heard my wife's voice coming from the bedroom light, amused, careless in a way you only sound when you think the world belongs to you. He's basically my walking ATM. She laughed into the phone. I swear the guy thinks he's some kind of hero for working himself to death. He'll never leave. He doesn't have it in him. I stood there in the dark, heart pounding, feeling something inside me go very quiet. Yeah. That was the moment everything changed. My name's Ethan Parker. I'm 39 years old, and at that point in my life I was working 5 jobs. Warehouse supervisor. By day, remote data entry during lunch, rideshare driving at night, freelance design on weekends, and overnight security shifts whenever I could grab them. 90-hour weeks. No days off, no hobbies, no energy. I told myself it was temporary. That marriage meant sacrifice, that love meant staying even when it hurt. That's what good men do right. I met my wife Lila 4 years earlier at a charity auction downtown. She was charming, quick-witted, effortlessly confident. Worked in marketing, dressed well, but not flashy, seemed grounded. When she proposed after a year, I felt like I'd finally done something right with my life. 3 weeks after the wedding, she sat me down, crying, hands shaking, and told me about the debt. Credit cards. A lot of them. Over $100,000. She said it was a shopping addiction, something she was ashamed of, something she was getting help for. She begged me not to leave. So I stayed. I worked. I believed her. For 3 years, I paid down her debt, sold my motorcycle, ate ramen and peanut butter sandwiches, walked to work to save gas, tracked every payment in spreadsheets like I was trying to outrun a ghost. I paid off more than $70,000. I thought we were a team. I thought she was changing. Turns out she was just getting better at hiding. Standing there in that hallway listening to her joke about me like I was a fool in some private comedy club, I didn't feel angry at first. I felt embarrassed. Small. Like I'd been the punchline for years and everyone else was in on the joke. And then something else crept in. Clarity. What she didn't know was that I'd been keeping records. Not because I was paranoid, but because numbers were the only thing that made sense anymore. Bank statements, credit card mail she tried to intercept, screenshots of social media posts showing designer bags and spa days on days she told me she was cutting back, messages to her sister about hiding packages. 3 folders, thick and heavy, sitting quietly in my locker at the warehouse. I didn't confront her that morning. I kissed her goodbye, told her I'd be working late, and walked out like nothing had happened. Patience matters, preparation matters. And if you're going to stand up after being walked on, you'd better know exactly where you're standing. The attorney appointment 2 days later confirmed it. Fraud. Deception. Strong case. She warned me it would get ugly, that people like Lila don't give up control quietly. I told her I was done being quiet. Lila was served while I was driving rideshare downtown. My phone exploded with missed calls and texts. Confusion turned into panic, panic into rage. Is this a joke? You didn't even talk to me after everything I did for you. I sent one message. All communication through attorneys. And I blocked her. That night she waited for me in the living room, eyes read divorce papers spread across the table like props. Why, she asked, voice trembling. I told her what I heard, watched the color drain from her face. Denial turned into anger, then excuses. Stress. Addiction. My fault for working too much. And then, finally, the truth slipped out. I needed someone stable, she said bitterly. Someone who wouldn't leave. I didn't think you'd ever actually grow a backbone. There it was, the thing she'd never meant to say out loud. I walked out that night with a duffel bag and a strange sense of relief. Rented a tiny studio across town. Slept for 12 hours straight. Took my first day off in years. And, for the first time in a long time, I could breathe. The legal fight was brutal. She claimed spousal support. Claimed she sacrificed her career for me. Claimed I abandoned her without warning. Documentation tore that story apart. Employment records, messages admitting deception. secret credit cards. And then, during mediation, she said it out loud in front of witnesses. She didn't marry me for love. She married me because I was useful. The judge didn't hesitate. Divorce granted. Reimbursement ordered. Full responsibility for her debt placed squarely on her shoulders. I didn't feel victorious walking out of that courtroom. I felt free. Here's what I learned. Being hardworking isn't weakness. Being loyal isn't stupidity. But letting someone use those qualities against you, that's where the line is. Love without respect isn't love. Commitment doesn't mean erasing yourself, and walking away doesn't make you the villain when staying would destroy you. So here's my question for you. Was I wrong for leaving, or was I wrong for staying as long as I did? Where do you draw the line between sacrifice and self-respect? Drop your thoughts in the comments, argue with me if you want, tell your own story, because conversations like this are how people realize they're not alone. And sometimes that's the first step toward finally standing up.